The people always say that when it starts, well, the guild gameplay and the guild politics in Star Atlas is going at full throat, guys.
No.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing today?
Good. How you doing, no?
I'm fine. Glad to be here. We have so much to talk about today, guys. Oh my god, the list is extensive.
But is somebody recording it?
I think, yeah.
That's important.
Good.
We have roughly invited about, 16 DAX leaders today, 16 guild leaders today. So I have lots of different insights about the topics that we are bringing. And it's something that me and Santi were talking about just now. It's really important that you guys share your experiences today, because neither Santi or I actually are parts of a guild in Star Atlas. So we hope to provide some background, some context, and maybe some political insights about what we perceive, since me and Sandy are present in various guilds, various DAOs, Discords. So we got to know you guys. We got to establish such a good relationship with the guild leaderships, with the guild members, and we love to watch you guys growing and theory crafting and building your own culture, your own way, your own company styles, your own family philosophies. And God, it's so rich. We have everything, going from the most freedom guild where nearly every member has the same power to make a decision, to raise into leadership positions, to centralized guilds with a very organized structure of chain of command. And it's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. We hope to bring you guys the insight and the awareness about the whole spectrum of the possibilities in this metaverse. And I don't know, maybe we can, I don't know, Santi, do you think that we can actually start right now? Or maybe we should wait a bit?
I'm posting an announcement right now.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, maybe you can wait 3 minutes. I don't know. We start at 35. I'll get my glass of water because hydration is fundamental. Be right back.
Yeah, we are in the Atlas Brew. You need something to drink, man.
You guys all better have a drink. Santi, what are you drinking? Coffee?
I just finished my coffee, so I won't be drinking anything in this Atlas Brew. I'm disappointing everyone.
Wait, what?
Oh my God. Yeah. Try one extra coffee. I'm always like super close to the coffee overdose.
Santi, you need to have a drink.
Yeah, I need to have a drink, man.
It's an unwritten rule.
Yeah, let's wait until Jose grabs a drink and maybe more guild leaders join, because I know that we had some interesting guests for today. But yeah, today we want to keep it like a super open conversation in which guild leaders can just chime in at any time, any time. Because like Jose said, neither me or Jose are in any guild. So yeah, I feel like guild leaders will be able to provide a much better insight on everything, on how guilds work, how to set up a guild, and all the questions that people may have about guilds in Star Atlas.
Yes, especially due to their experiences, because the people always say that when it starts, well, the guild gameplay and the guild politics in Star Atlas is going at full throat, guys. You see, I get mesmerized reading the white papers of the guilds in Star Atlas, because they are very, very, very sophisticated. We have those guilds with a very defined mission, like there are industries going at full throat organizing their members. There are guilds who will rise to be mercenaries. We have our pirates that strive for the most freedom. And today, the beautiful thing about today is that we'll have this stage for you guys to share with us, to make your insights, to share your experiences, to share your perspectives. And that's really important because everyone has an idea about where they want to go in Star Atlas, right? Like the player, when he joins our Discord, he gets overwhelmed about how much info there is to know, how much there is to learn, and they will need you guys. You know, their, let's say, their home where they will go to actually learn and develop themselves. It will be inside a guild's heart, you know. They will need you guys, they will need the leadership, they will need to understand this universe. And you guys will provide the framework in which they will thrive. So it's really important that you guys participate today, that you guys join us, interrupt us whenever you feel that's necessary to make a point, to share an experience and something like that, because, well, Santi and I can provide some context and some insight, but you guys are the leading actors today, you know? We need you guys, and we are so glad to have so many guild leaders. Let us count. How many guilds do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 guilds online right now. And some of them are one of the biggest. So yeah, I guess we can get started. And what do you think?
Yeah, let's get started, man. Let's get started. Let's kick off the official Star Atlas Brew number 3. This is the Atlas Brew 3rd edition. Today we're going to speak about guilds. What is a guild? How can I join a guild? How can I create a guild? Multifaction or single faction guilds. Guilds and the Metaverse. Guilds and politics and guild governance. We have some really special guests today. We have a guest from various guilds inside Star Atlas that will help us to provide some more insight on everything that we are going to speak about, because Jose and I are not members of any guild. So you will have like both point of views from people who are not in guilds and people who are really engaged in guilds, both guild members and guild leaders. So yeah, I feel like we could kick off things doing a little introduction on what is a guild inside Star Atlas. Jose, what do you think?
Awesome, Santi. So let's kick this game on and start by the main question that brought us here. What is a guild? And there is no trivial answer for that, because Star Atlas, like in real life, it established many ways to set up a guild. We have guilds that work just like an actual company in our real world. And on the other hand, we have guilds that work just like a family. They are indeed, some guilds are indeed a family, right? People from Atlasia. So yes, but what they share in common? What's the common ground that we can all call those so different institutions as a guild? Well, they have this single unifying factor, that is trust. They are an organized company of people motivated by one mutual interest. They are working together to reach somewhere. And this kind of organization, the guilds, they have the ability in Star Atlas to organize themselves in the way they feel more comfortable. That's something that Michael actually talks about a lot in the foundation room, and whenever people ask him about the guild, is that they want to give the power to the guilds to build themselves however they want. Going as far as making guilds able to mint their own coins, like Final Frontier has done extra-officially, but there will be ways to do that inside the game. They are discussing the methods of giving different perspectives of governance inside a guild. So maybe your guild will organize itself by all these deposits, like you have a share of your guild. Maybe you have one leader centralized making the calls in a chain of command. Or maybe you don't have leadership at all. You guys are just friends who bind together and to have fun and to explore space together, sharing all the spoils. And yes, Star Atlas gives you this freedom, and with this freedom, you need to find the guild that will have the play style that you want to make. And that's a really interesting point because, once again, Star Atlas offers a variety of different ways to play the game. And here in our Discord, we have, as I said, like 16 different guilds, and all those 16 different guilds have different play styles. You won't find a generic guild like, we are here, we will do every content in the game, and we don't have any specialization, we will work everywhere. No. Every guild is motivated by a defining factor. And maybe we can have someone from the audience, one of the guild leaders, to start this conversation by telling us about themselves or what's the defining factor in his guild. Maybe we can start. Don't know who is feeling ready to start our conversation today.
Hi everyone, I'm Christian, the founder of the Interstellar Alliance. If there is no one else, maybe I can start.
Yeah.
Sure, Christian, go ahead.
Christian, welcome.
So, hi everyone again. Just like I said, my name is Christian. I'm the founder of the Interstellar Alliance, and I'm also co-founder of the United Metaverse organizations, which is a union between multiple different organizations, mostly containing created around Star Atlas Metaverse. And we are planning to cooperate in different ways in the future Metaverse. Until then, we're just pretty much building our foundations, any type of tools, services that we can provide to our members for various different jobs or just activities that we are going to explore inside the Metaverse. Just like the host mentioned, we believe that most guilds will be able to take part in our in-game activities, but some are going to be more focused around certain aspects of the Metaverse. For example, the Interstellar Alliance is going to focus mainly on the Stargate network and the transportation system in the Metaverse, but we are also going to try to just create these communication channels between the various guilds and increase the cooperation between the guilds. I'm pretty sure that everybody will be highly incentivized to have more friends than enemies, so I'm pretty sure that everybody understands this, that it will be a lot more better if we have a much more safer environment when it comes to mutual protection agreements or pacts or some kind of just walls between the various organizations. And we'll be trying to pretty much work together.
Christian, I have a question for you, Christian. What advice do you have for people who want to start a guild or create a guild?
Well, I'm pretty sure that many of you already know, but around the Interstellar, around probably more than several now organizations, smaller and big, which were created from members of the Interstellar Alliance or people who decide that they can help us in some regards, like for example, building organization who is focused around the security teams or the training of different mining operators. I think this will be very valuable, so some of our members decide to build this type of specific service that they can help organize in the future, just like in any other government in our world. There is different agencies that are working for one government. I think this system is pretty viable when it comes to just mutual cooperation and decentralization on any different organization. Because if small group of people are pretty much doing one specific thing. I think it will be good, but it will be better if we have like different guilds specifically built for them. And just like everybody knows, there is some guilds that are going to focus on, for example, ships, which will be good, but I think that everybody will be able to build ships, just depending on how organized they will be. So I think this will be really viable. Or other organizations who are literally going to build like jobs in the metaverse. They will be paying monthly salaries to security teams who are going to be responsible in protecting traders, various of different sectors, which will be very important for the trade roads. So yeah, I think that a lot of organizations will be able to build a lot of different jobs which people will be able to take part inside the metaverse.
Thank you, Christian.
Christian,
No, it's not just all building though. Don't forget us pirates. We're going to be smashing.
of course, man. If someone's building, someone needs to smash, right? The balance must be kept.
I completely agree.
Exactly. It's the yin and yang, bro.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't really think that we'll be avoid the chaos that will be in the metaverse. I think that it's extremely important to have some kind of a driving force of adrenaline. So I think it will be pretty viable, and it will be more exciting, of course. But I'm pretty sure that over longer period of time, most people will try to cooperate and just build a proper, metaverse infrastructure and just focus on just building rather than destroying. Of course, I'm pretty sure that at the moment everybody may be like, yeah, let's build a pirate guild and we'll be destroying stuff. And I don't really think that it will be that easy, as most people are thinking. For sure, there will be all kinds of different security protocols that people will be creating in order to prevent as much as possible these losses that will happen from fighting, or even there will be entire like tools and services built around the insurance specifically. So I'm pretty sure that in the end of the day will be those that have the most ships that will be the most scariest in a sense. So I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of people who are going to try to protect their assets and means necessary, right? Also, there will be karma system in the game, which will be very obvious to see, who you can play with, who you can trust with, etc. At the end of the day, I think this will be very, very valuable to take under consideration.
I think Christian touched lots of good points, and I would like to pursue them now, talking about, as you guys have seen, we need to be in a guild inside Star Atlas. Of course, it's not a necessity at the original meaning of the word, but the metaverse is a very big place, We have those giant organizations, and we have all this political context that actually emphasizes and asks us for a multiplayer characteristic in Star Atlas, because at the end of the day, there is so much a single person can do. And there are lots of mechanics in Star Atlas that pushes us to community gameplay. The first one being the skill trees. We have seen lots of discussions about how skills gonna work in Star Atlas. We don't have actual confirmation about them, but what we do know is that it's gonna be really, really hard to get to the high tiers in terms of skill. So basically, you only be a master of your crafts if you play focused on that craft. You only be the best pilot if you are piloting every day. And if you are piloting every day, you won't be mining at the same time. So yeah, we need each other to reach the different endgame contents. We have the builders, we have the miners, we have the refiners, we have the fighters, we have the politicians, we have the diplomats, and everyone has a role in Star Atlas. And sometimes, even guilds will need other guilds to succeed. And this is another point that I would like to touch right now, the relationships between guilds. Christian is the leader of the Interstar Alliance. He's the representative of this organization. But we have many, many different organizations in Star Atlas that are actually a league of guilds. Like, for example, the pirates, they are pretty friendly with each other. Isn't that right, Bomber? And is it not?
How long is that going to last, though? Let's be honest. Let's just be honest here. Pirates being friendly with each other, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that there will be a lot of funny situations. Just like if people play at Rust, they know how it's an open PvP game and how hard it is, to keep a strong team together without any betrayals and stuff like this. So it will be fun to see how the pirates will interact between each other. But I'm actually encouraging them, to build their own pirate city somewhere in deep space. That would be pretty cool. And I wanted to point out something when it comes to the end game of Star Atlas. From what we know currently, the Dyson spheres and the motherships will be some of the most hardest things to build by any one guild. And I think this is the highest level of constructions that we'll be able to build in the game. And I'm really interested, how difficult it will be. And one of the reasons that we are building so many guilds together to be a union is because if we want to have a very efficient transportation system in the game and to reduce our costs of transportation of goods and services, we will need to have some kind of a efficient transportation system between the solar systems or different regions in the metaverse. So I think that this will be one of the most appealing jobs for our guilds to focus and just cooperate so we can create this decentralized system which everybody will be able to use in the future. And the motherships, just on the last note on this, the motherships can be like entire cities which multiple different guilds can build there.
But I think this is an interesting thing, right? It's the people here now are talking about it like it's a business. They've mentioned jobs and profit and things, right? It's a game. I think that's the thing. Is probably one of the things for the pirates, right? I just want to play a game and blow shit up. I'll be in the high risk zone, blowing shit up.
That's
the beauty of it. And I think that's the beauty of the game, right? Is if they get it right, it can be a game, and for people who want to do spreadsheets in space, they can do that. I think it could be something for every.
Is your guild focusing on that, friend? The Dark Guild is focusing on destroying things in deep space?
I think he lost his connection.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Guys, this
that was interesting too.
I think his points were extremely good, actually. Some people are just going to be here for the PvP and just for the enjoyment. But the coolest part in this type of metaverse is that we're also going to have the chance, to build something bigger, right? And the subjective is very good.
It's entirely subjective. I just realized I was on mute the entire time, but how's everyone doing?
Well, we are all speculators. That's true.
Yeah,
we are all speculating if that's possible.
Please share your insights on the topic.
I guess one good data we can take out and we can use to see if there is like high potential this to be real, like jobs inside the metaverse and everything else. We can just check the assets that are currently sold, around $200 million. I don't really think that just any game can gather such a big funding from so many different sources without having something more than just a game, right? You don't shift such a big amount of funding and technical expertise and experts to just
I get your point.
We're not ignorant to the fact that people don't want to just fucking lose their money. I mean, that's definitely something we've considered, but majority of those funds are likely going to stay in low risk zone. If you're putting in millions of dollars, you're not going to send it to deep space, correct? Like, that's just, as an outside source, it's going to be calculated.
I don't know. I think these big DACs with big visions and a lot of money, who can afford to have like big fleets, will definitely go to deep space, because that's where a lot of the profit lies. That's where a lot of those materials lie.
Okay, so are you saying they should just have it because they're large?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'd say larger guilds probably have a pretty big mission of going to deep space, because that's where a lot of these kind of different shipbuilders and all the other resources.
It's the endgame content, 100%. But not everyone's going to do endgame content.
Oh no, absolutely not. Yeah.
And some of these guilds, specifically ours and other pirate guilds, are just designed as vehicles for players to get to the end game, right? I mean, piracy aside, that's just a byproduct of being a warfaring guild. Like, we're just obvious about it. Like, all these larger guilds are 100% going to attack one another at a certain point, right? You know, it's bound to happen, so we're just saying it up front. So we're just being blunt there.
You know, these big wallets, they're going to have insurance policies as well on their ships, so they won't be too worried about going into deep space. If they lose the ship, they file a claim.
100%.
But you have to also understand that there are different layers that are going to be associated with everything that goes with, you know, the game. And hello, everybody, and hello to my pirate friend Bomber here. Hey, my friend. It's going to have so many layers, and one of the big mistakes that people make, and I have been very adamant about this, not only within my guild, but also with the people that I actually interact with, is that, and I think I've had chats with Bomber about this and other folks that are very much game oriented. The worst mistake that you can make, and believe me, because I have made this mistake, I have been diving in games like this since 2006 and working in similar organizations and founding clans and guilds since around the same time. The biggest mistake that you can think is that gameplay associated to piracy or danger zones is going to be isolated to a very specific zone within the game that you're playing. That's not going to happen. That's going to permeate all over. That's number one. And number two, that you are going to be having guaranteed success just because you have the numbers. Because over and over again, gamers and guilds and pirates and outlaws and even lawful guilds and clans have proven that, thing wrong over and over again. So guilds, even as big as the one that I am part of as of right now, which is a guild that I love, that has awesome leadership and people that know what they're doing, we're going to have to be very careful and not to take anything and anyone for granted and not underestimate anybody, especially Bomber, because that's where you get, bit in the ass. Again, it has happened to me, and it's something that people that have to join a guild have to take into consideration, not just to go with the bling and the fashion and the fancy posts and, personas here and there, but also take into account whether or not a guild has structure, whether or not a guild has educational guidelines to support its community, whether or not the guild has financial steps that you can take to secure your investment and make the best decisions. So everything and anything goes into taking that step and making that choice. So people have to be very careful because, the guild that you actually join will determine the path that you take and the kind of support that you have. So that is very, very important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And guys, if I can add something to that, we need to consider that guilds are not monolithic in Star Atlas. And that's something that we need to be really aware right now, before the game begins, because most of the people here who come from a gaming background will come from a gaming background where guilds are quite different than they will be in Star Atlas. Whenever you play the guild inside an MMO like World of Warcraft or something like that, you could raid with the guys sometime and you could enter, join and leave a guild without consequences. In Star Atlas, there are quite the consequences depending on the level of gameplay and the kind of membership you had once you were playing the guild, right? Because the most important thing in Star Atlas is information. And this is something that I actually like to talk about whenever I talk about guilds, is that you, when you join a guild, you are depositing the most important asset that you have in Star Atlas. That's your name, your trust, and your honor. You know, everyone knows everyone here. I scroll the the voice chat channel here, and there's barely anyone that I don't know here right now, because yeah, we know each other, we play each other, we discuss things with each other, and we need to have some sort of degree of civilization here. Like maybe we have conflicting conflicting agendas in Star Atlas, but we actually know and why how players act, how is their reputation inside of Metaverse, and this will be a very important asset inside the game, because you need to take care of your players and about your relationships with other guilds. As Christian was hinting earlier this day, we actually need to take care who we ally with and what our guild members are doing. I had an experience. Can you guys hear me? From Craig is saying Jojo.
I hear
Is
perfectly,
cool?
my man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I had an experience that was very interesting in Albion Online. Not sure anyone here has played this game, but this game was just like Star Atlas. He had a high risk zone, he had territories in the high risk zone, and there was a problem in a member being toxic with a girl in the game, and he started spewing racist commentaries and things like that, and his guild was wiped. The whole community in Albion Online joined together to destroy that guild. And
That's
yeah, this is the kind of thing that can actually happen pretty easily here, you know? If, let us say, someone start calling Santi names, you know, even Utopia would rise for war in this scenario, you know? This is the kind of thing that can't happen. It's sacred.
Janitor union, rise up.
That's fucking
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, you know, and this will be very important in the game. And we already see guilds joining in alliances and stuff like that. And that's something that we need to watch for, especially regarding the high risk zone. And that's something that I always talk about in my articles, that the most important thing in Star Atlas, let us say the blood in the veins of the games in the game, will be the supply zone, supply routes, pardon me. And supply routes demand a very extensive security in all tiers of the routes, because we have people like Bomber and Easy Not who are always watching in the darkness, waiting for their time to strike and to make profits, and that's perfectly legitimate for me. And the guilds will need to protect themselves, and they need to have a degree of order inside the high risk zone. Why this is necessary? Because we won't have DAOs in the high risk zone. We won't have the Council of Peace protecting the assets. We only have guilds. Guilds will become law inside the high risk zone. And as I have explained in a few times in Atlas Brew first, I guess, the biggest zone in Star Atlas is the high risk zone. And the reward system in the high risk zone is 8x higher than the rewards that you can actually manage to get in the low risk zone. So yeah, as the time passes, people will be pushed to find assets in the high risk zone. It's not an option for a guild of, let us say, medium tier to not have gameplay in the high risk zone. You know, it's necessary to be part of this, to have a strategy to do this, and you need allies, because no one can cover the entire galaxy. You need info about what's happening. You need support. You need an ally to help protect the worlds that are farther from your main borders, you know. And this is a movement that I see many guilds already doing inside the game. And maybe someone can share their experiences so far about their alliances or how they are planning to cooperate inside the high risk zones or things like that.
I would like to hear it from pirates mainly because they will be.
Yeah, we want to hear from pirates.
Yeah, they will be living in the high risk zone. So yeah, maybe Vomber or Easy.
That
What
was
do you wanna
about the
know?
code, man.
Yeah,
That
but
was
if we
about
tell you,
the
we'll have to kill
relationship.
you.
Oh man, you can't kill the dude.
So what do you want to know? Oh no, Nude's got immunity.
Oh, awesome.
Nude's got public immunity.
One of the few like me and Sandy, right?
And Nude and Santi got public immunity for sure.
Okay, thank you.
I feel safer now. But yes, that was about. You guys are from different factions, right? You're both pirate guilds. You guys are from different factions. Is there any treaty like we won't attack each other, or it's free for all? Let us know what you
No,
guys
we're
are thinking
alliance.
about that. Awesome.
We're alliance with each other. We work together.
That's great. So yeah, we have the first pirate alliance in Star Atlas. Is that right?
No, there's multiple already.
Oh really? Who else?
Yeah, we just work in the shadows. We're not so vocal.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, guys. We are just not that vocal. But yeah, as you can see, we have many different actors already moving inside the shadows of Star Atlas, and this get me chills, guys. Like, it's so awesome to see that even though we are pretty far away from these actual fights, they are actually happening right now, because somewhere people are actually developing the structures they will need for their guilds, their alliance, their gameplay style. And yes, that's beautiful to hear. And I don't know, I was thinking, the one who I'm writing right now, this article about Titan ships. And I was thinking, the advantage is about owning a Titan ship. Do you guys think that it is possible that a single guild will own Titan ships? Is there any guild here planning to go for a Titan ship by themselves? Anyone is feeling daring enough to
Are you
share
saying
this
destroy
information?
it or buy it?
Buy it and acquire it.
I mean, that's a hefty sum of money. For sure.
I don't know. Maybe, of course, some people might be feeling
We
not
talked about killing it for sure.
awesome, man. Well, this will be quite an endeavor, right? To take down one of those. And yeah, I see that many alliances will try to team up together to try to get one of those, because at the start of the game, they will be a huge force of change, a huge force of, how can I even put that? Soft power, Knowing that someone owns a Titan class ship is like, he doesn't even need to fight to strike some fear in people's heart. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, but the devs still haven't confirmed what role they're going to have, because they've said they might make them just defensive, so you couldn't take it into the high risk zone, for example. So I think until it's clearer what the role of them is going to be, it's hard to say. But I'm sure if anyone wants to bring one in the high risk zone, us pirates will be happy to meet them.
I'm just gonna say this. We came up with like an interior for shits and gigs sort of role and title system within our guild for achievements that we would like to see within the game happen. And we did make a title for someone that did destroy a Titan ship, so just saying.
Just saying. This is awesome, man.
I think the organized pirates is something that you shouldn't underestimate.
Yeah, this is cool. And I'm feeling safe because I have this political immunity, and Heimdall and Heimdall is building my Nude Star. So yeah, I have my own titanship. It's fine.
Noot.
But guys, another topic that I would like to discuss right now is the relationship between guilds and the metaverse in itself. Because I think that, and I've seen a lot of writing material about that, that guilds will be the first vehicle of investment in Star Atlas. Like guilds will be able to mint their own coins in order to gather capital to leverage their positions, their activities, and stuff like that. And is there any guild here that's thinking about going through this experience? I know that Final Frontier has already done something like that outside of Star Atlas, but is any guild here present thinking about doing this kind of stuff or going this way?
Yeah, one thing we are thinking about here is do these scholarships, but financial a little place to get the kids provide like infrastructure for them started, and this is like maybe a little bit outside of the metaverse and putting people like inside of the metaverse.
That's interesting.
This is cool, man. And this is something that it's actually really necessary in order to bring communities inside the game. And this is also another topic of interest about the recruitment of people inside Star Atlas. I think that most of people get inside, learn about Star Atlas from outside sources. Like they are not actually joining through guild, let us say marketing, But as the game progresses, I think that you guys here today with us will be the main source of personnel of new players, because you guys might actually get to a point where you guys are seen as professional esports players, Like you guys might be those big organizations that everyone in the crypto world will know about. Like what happens today with YGG, and other guilds like that who works in the metaverse in multiple games. But Star Atlas is gonna be so big that I guess that you guys will need to keep all your resources here in order to actually manage your guild inside this metaverse. And yeah, I think that most of this new wave of people will come through the works of guilds and guild recruitment and awareness. And the scholarship is a good way to bring people in, because it generates revenue for the guild and actually brings more people. And I think that's something that we might actually see in the near future when we have our Korean updates, when we have stuff like that, and enough development on Star Atlas side to bring this stuff to life.
I would like to ask a question to someone in the audience. Going a little bit back on the topics that we discussed, I know that we have here a lot of people who are not members of guilds yet, because I see a lot of names without like any guild tag or anything. So I would like to ask someone who joined a guild or someone who runs a guild, why you find it valuable right now for a person to join a guild, or why what value you have received like from joining a guild yourself. Anyone can talk.
Hey Christian, if you're talking, you're staticky.
Yeah.
How is now? Is it better?
Better now, yep.
Oh, my apology. In my personal perspective, I think the best thing when it comes to guilds is the connections that you're building before you even have the game, right? I'm working on everything around the International Alliance and the United Metaverse organization from around 1 year now, and just the amount of connections that I managed to build and the friendships that I managed to create are extremely valuable, not just because of the game or something like this, but in practice, in the real world. Just, I already have, just a proposal to go to different countries to visit friends, and I think this is extremely interesting. I already done similar things like traveling to different countries to visit people I met in games, so I think it's extremely fun, and just it's good to have more friends, right?
That's a great point. Yeah.
This is awesome, man. Imagine the day where we can actually meet everyone here in a Star Atlas party, inside the metaverse or here in real life. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
I'm looking for this day.
In Iceland, they have this the gatherings of EVE Online, and I'm based here in Iceland, and I think that it's extremely fun time, and I think it would be really nice if we have like in some similar, even here in Iceland, we can create for the entire community some kind of a gathering in the future. I think it would be really interesting. But for sure, we'll also have in VR space and stuff like that. But it's always fun to, drink a beer with the new friends, or something like this. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone from other guilds would like to share your experience and stuff like that?
We have a lot of guild members right now. Don't be shy, guys.
Yeah, guys, there's lots of people wanting to join your guild, so you have the opportunity to show yourselves right now.
Yeah. Tell us why you joined your guild. Why your guild is good. Why someone should join a guild and live that experience. This is your moment, guys.
Hey, one of you fuckers in our guild say something. Calling you out right now.
Chronic Fever, I see you unmuted. Come on.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
Or you get kicked outside of the show.
Go. I'm calling out Chronic Fever 0.
He's probably figuring out the push to talk right now.
We have the how to activate push to talk. Dominic just posted it on the Atlas Brew. So if you don't know how to activate it, just post.
Alright, there we go.
Hey, let's go,
Alright, I called your ass out. Let's go.
So actually, Bomber and I go back many, many years. But one of the big things that I think for anybody coming into the Star Atlas universe, you're going to want to have people watching your back, right? And now is the time to form those relationships in order to have that bigger backing later.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's a good point. Someone wanted to talk. I think it was Ark, if I'm not wrong. We have a lot of shy people today in the audience, guys.
Yeah, guys, come on.
Drink up. I don't need to drink some rum or something.
I'm actually really happy to see, that we have open mic, everybody can talk, and we're like 120 people, and it's relatively, organized. It's not, we are not talking over each other.
Yeah, we have some order here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry guys, I've been trying to figure out how to push to talk. Hey, hello everyone. I'm the guild leader of Equinox Guild. Just want to share my experience with the guild so far. So I think what Christian said was so true for me. Joining the guild has made me meet so many people. In fact, Christian and Arda were one of the first ones that helped us build the guild. And in fact, me joining the guild actually got me a job to work at Equinox, which is part of our parent company, the Launchpad. So yeah, it's been a really life-changing experience, and I got to meet Newt and the rest of my guild members. It's been an amazing experience, actually.
Oh man, this is awesome, guys. Yeah, you see, Santi, there's something really interesting because everyone has those different play styles, everyone has those different backgrounds. But there is this unifying factor that's friendship, you know. The guilds in Star Atlas are not like companies in real lives. They're not families in the natural sense of the word, but they are something new, you know. They are like the mix of people with this feeling, people with a sense of duty, people with desire to grow, to acquire goods and service, and to actually make a living of it on some of Star Atlas of some sort, or just actually, just like Easy said inside earlier in our talk, people that want to smash stuff and go destroy stuff in the deep space. But yes, everyone is looking for a place to find people like them. And this is really interesting because we are people from everywhere in the world. I'm here in Brasilia, Santi is in Argentina, you guys, Viking Note is in the North countries, Odvi is in Germany, and we feel like friends, you know? We feel like we know each other and have fun, and we laugh about these crazy ideas and theories and stick together to make theories and craft all those strategies and stuff like that. And this will only get bigger, guys. You know, we are about 120 people chatting here today, but here we have the actual leaders of tomorrow. Here we have some of the biggest names inside our game right now, leaders of guilds that have like 7,000 members, like the people from Brazilian Star Alliance and the club. And I will not go saying every single name because there are so many of you here right now, and you guys make this space really special. And everyone here is seeing the potential of this. Everyone here that has the same glow in their eyes when talking about Star Atlas and their ideas and what they are planning for the future. And yeah, this is kind of special to me, you know, to people here will play the game. And yes, of course, this is important, but here you'll also find a place for you and actually make a living of it. So we are changing the relationship between how people make money. People are able to make money through gaming with their friends. There is value in that, guys. This is important. This is something new that can only happen in this kind of scenario, in this kind of contest.
You mind if I interject there, kind of following what you just said? I think that was really what I was going to touch on. One of the biggest reasons for joining a guild now is essentially that, right? It's a unique opportunity in this reality where essentially you're choosing whom you want to work with, and also in some of these cases be family with, right? Because these are your hard-earned dollars, and it's going to translate into more hard-earned dollars, right? And there's not many instances in reality where you get this opportunity to do something like this. So I think, in essence, I would really say, would you prefer to join a company? Would you prefer to join a company late and feel as if you deserve the same as someone that's been there forever, or start from the ground up, right? A company with your family, that is.
Yeah, just to add on to that, actually, Bomber, I was speaking to Newt yesterday about, what is the true value of a guild? Lots of other guilds, especially the play-to-earn guilds, they measure their success based on, either total value logged or how many scholars they have and things. But I really think that the true value of a guild is having that community and the bond, because that's really what people want to be part of. You can be a scholar in any guild and you just choose the best rates, but once you're stuck into a community where you feel like you're part of the family, you probably never want to leave. And I think that's really what guilds should aim towards. It's building that community where everyone just feels like it's their home.
Yeah, I think, fortunately enough, the space is large enough to have both sort of guilds, right? Because some people are only interested in investing, and those scholarships do provide jobs for some people that really do need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the conversation we're having now, right, is important for those who are looking for more and looking for something beyond the investment, right? Who are really looking to the game, for the game itself, for the community, for the tech, etc. And the investment is just a bonus, right?
Yeah, when I was, I remember just when the Discord, the Star Atlas Discord was created, and there was like 20 people literally inside. And I was reading the white paper, and I was thinking to myself, yes, all of this makes sense, and yeah, we can create this type of a metaverse, but what we are going to lack the most will be the community, because you cannot have a metaverse or alternative society without having strong community which is working together, building together, or even attacking each other, right? They're making some kind of experience for themselves, and this will be the backbone behind this entire new metaverse experience that we'll be having in the future. And this was why I proposed Guild Recruitment Channel to be created, because I just knew that we need as many communities as possible and as many people capable of taking the responsibility to build those communities in order to even have this metaverse. Otherwise, without those people, there will be no metaverse.
Yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't enjoy the community more than the rest of it, for sure.
Yeah, guys, this was beautiful. I got my penguin bones trembling all over my body.
What's up, Nuke?
Yeah, man.
What's up?
What's up?
Steven.
It's Steven, man. How
What's
you
up?
doing,
What's
brother?
up, guys? It's good to hear your voice as always.
Oh, Steven, it's great to have you here.
Welcome,
with us, bro.
Steven. Welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks,
community
guys.
is certainly one of the reasons I'm sticking around. It kind of sold me on how serious this game really was. It kind of I guess concreted that. Hey, I'm here. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you here. Star Atlas community is really welcoming. I never felt this welcome anywhere before, and I don't know. Since Steven is here, Steven, do you plan to join a guild as well? Are you thinking
Ooh,
about?
I don't know if I can say that right now, but it's definitely in the plans. It's definitely in the.
Come on. You can fire it.
I would like to
not in a guild yet, but I the more I meet you guys, and the more I learn about each vision that you guys are creating in the guilds, the more I'm getting actually okay, who do I want to align with here? So maybe I'm holding off until I meet you guys a little bit more.
So guys, get started talking about your guild, because Steven is listening and he's watching.
I want to ally with every guild. I don't know about joining yet. I'm trying to do my own thing, but I don't want to create a guild either. I do want to create a corporation. I've got a company kind of already started sitting on the sidelines that I'm hoping I can deploy in the metaverse when that day comes. But
that's awesome.
I could ally with everybody. It's like, hey, you see Crypto Canopy? Don't shoot. Come have a beer, but don't shoot. Basically, going to be running cargo. I've got 2 Thimble pack lights and security to go with it, because I already knew, if I'm sending out a cargo ship, I'm going to have protection go with it. And working on that, and I've got the power plants, mining drills, and everything that I bought back when people who earned them thought that it was a good idea to sell them, and I was like, all right, well, I'll buy it up. But I want to do the mining for definite. And yeah, we'll see where it goes.
This is awesome, man, and I'm sure that you will receive lots of invitations right now after your presentation and your Frights assets. Lots of guilds are looking for this kind of member. And I don't know, Sant, maybe we can talk a little about, police and guilds.
Okay.
Drop it.
You guys know that I can't resist talking about this topic.
Yeah.
Just watch the place. Right after he speaks, it's going to pump. Just watch.
I wish I had this kind of power, because if I had, I wouldn't stop speaking. I would never sleep again.
Yeah. As always, not financial advice, guys. Not financial
Not the financial advice. But this is something that I'd like to share with you guys about the role of police in guild gameplay. As we know, there won't be DAO's efforts inside the high risk zone. But much of the stuff, like where the guilds will sell their goods, where they will build their main worlds, their home bases, their factories, and stuff like that, most of those assets will be distributed in the medium risk zone and in the low risk zone. And yeah, of course, they need a safe place to store their goods, or at least a good part of it. And this is something that some guilds are actually getting really invested on. I have recently spoke with the guys from the Metaverse guild. It's a Russian guild, and they have quite the bag of police. And they told me that they expect to play the political role as one of the main features of their guilds, And I'm sure that they are actually watching the opportunities that come with a big treasury, like in the faction DAO, like in the big regional DAOs, and stuff like that. Is there any guild here present who actually aspires to play the political game in Star Atlas like one of their main features, like trying to actually go for a faction DAO and a specific faction DAO or something like that? Or you guys are hiding your game here now?
Winky face.
Normally, the United Metaverse organizations are focusing on the Multifaction, and one of the reasons that we wanted to most of the organizations and guilds to be in one place is to be able to just organize the voting and just the mutual cooperation between the entire faction, right? That was our idea. Like, if our faction is more organized, are we going to be better off than the rest? And if we start out together, will we be much better than if we are just spread around? Of course, we'll have faction members in all of the factions, but I think it would be really nice if we have like one main headquarters where we can just do our best to manage as efficiently and as best as possible for the entire faction. I think that would be really good.
That's actually a really interesting point, Christian, because what you said goes really along what I think about the game. The hardest thing will be in Star Atlas to actually have enough political influence to actually move the faction down. Because, well, we have thousands, if not, there will be millions of players in each faction. And to have a bag strong enough, or maybe enough political capital to actually move a faction down will be quite the feat. But also, it comes with the best rewards in game. And one of them is obviously the buff that you can get using the macro movements that the faction DAOs are entitled to do. But also, there is the possibility of actually using the treasury of the DAO in the politics as dividends, as regulations for the regional DAOs inside your faction. And this is quite the end game strongest content, if I may say so, because when you actually become the majority of your faction, if you can get enough allies to actually move the faction before the other factions can do that, yeah, you'll be in a huge advantage in Star Atlas. So I commend you guys for this insight. And yeah, I want to see how this will play out. Because as you said, you guys are focusing on mood. And the mute faction has quite the scenario. There are lots of very interesting guilds there. And yeah, I want to see how those big actors will engage between themselves and work building their faction politics. This will be pretty interesting. Guys, is there anyone here, and Sandy, I think that's pretty interesting as well, that wants to ask a question for a guild leader, or to us, or to Steven, or to, I don't know, anyone here present?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
To Steven. When are we going to get DAC registration?
Poor
Not sure
Steven.
Steven knows that, man.
Poor Steven.
I'm just
Steven love it.
If I told you, Santi would kill me.
Santi knows?
No, not only me.
Steven is me, man.
Not even me.
No, I'm just messing. I
Sorry,
am curious though to know at some point, since it is such a vital part of this game. Just curious when that's going to happen.
Yeah, it needs to be done right. That's for sure.
But maybe there's someone here who can give you some insight on this. We have Xcode here with us.
Hi.
Hey, man. Sorry for putting you in this position, but I also want the leak, so sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Deep if you want, if you don't want to get into that.
Well, let's talk about DAX before we go there. So I can't give you any insight as to when the in-game DAX are going to come out, but Squads DAO is releasing their mainnet. They're releasing their beta version on mainnet tomorrow, I think. And that's been something that Deep Profits has been experimenting with a lot. And so even if we can't make these Squads DAOs applicable to Star Atlas, we're still going to be building them. And we're going to build all of our squadrons and all of our military units into proper DAX, led by a squadron leader who's already been chosen. And we're going to practice. We're going to start working on what it's going to look like when the game actually supports this kind of stuff, so that we're versed in it, and so that we can teach other guilds how to do it, and so that we can say to the Star Atlas community, this is the problems that we've seen with DAX, and these are the solutions that we found. And I get that the solutions may not completely transfer over, but as a player and as a guild member, that's what I'm focusing on. I do have some insight into the Star Atlas stack, but it's not the project that I'm working on, and it's not my place to say when it'll be released or not. But I would encourage you guys to work with Squads DAO, or any DAO program for that matter, and experiment with your leaders on beta or on mainnet beta or on DevNet, to try and understand how that process works. What does it mean to actually have joint ownership, to have to wait for multi-sig key signatures to go through? What is a treasury wallet and what can go into it, and how do I get money in and out of it and all that, and practice with small amounts so that you can get to the bottom of that. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I appreciate the answer. We were looking into squads as well, because I do understand we're sort of building the stairs as we're walking up them with this, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, if you do build some Squads DAOs, I would love to see how they work, if you're willing to share them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Data to help the community forward, certainly.
Yeah, and likewise, anybody else that wants to build a Squads DAO, that wants suggestions or wants to figure it out with us tomorrow. We've been practicing on DevNet, but if you want to work with us on mainnet, I'm not opposed to other guild leaders or other people, for that matter, who want to participate in our squads coming and learning with us, right? There's no reason why we can't do that.
Awesome. I'll add you
on that. Awesome.
You mind if I add you after this and get you connected with our dev guy?
Please do.
Sweet, thanks.
So why did you choose squads? Because we've been looking at, not in much depth. We're considering squads and realms.
So we chose squads because it was in the, I think it was written in the white paper. There is early on when Star Atlas first came out, squads was actually mentioned in their official documentation as one of the teams they were working with. Now that hasn't panned out. We're not actively using squads inside of Star Atlas, but before I had joined the company and before we knew anything, squads happened to be the one that was easy to get a hold of the developers. They answered all our questions. They invited us into personal conversations with them about how things were going to work in the future. And so I've kind of stuck with that idea, even though it hasn't been something that's actively being developed, just because they've been so helpful.
Okay,
And I would add on to that, if you can make a deck like he's saying, with squads or with realms, I would try it because it brought up a lot of really interesting discussions at the club when we set up our first deck in the realm and then had to, navigate through everything the first time. So it's well worth doing before we get to that point.
Yeah, the first one I set up, I had some kind of proposal in, and there's this idea of like having quorum and then having a certain number of people that have to vote on things before you can approve them. And I got myself into a situation where I actually had locked myself out of my DAO because I had set the quorum. I had set the quorum at a spot where I wasn't getting enough votes to actually pass things, and it was just a mess. So it's good to experiment now and have, because there's no formulas. There's no like, oh, you have to do this in order to have it function properly. So that's what we really want to get to the bottom of right now is like, what's governance looking like and what's our treasury going to be used for? Like, yeah. And so I'll segue into what we do at Deep Profits. Like, the DAOs and the DACs that we're creating in Deep Profits are meant to be small DAOs that make up a bigger kind of persona. There isn't going to be like a big gigantic Deep Profits DAO as far as I can tell. There's going to be squadron leaders who are people who are active in our Discord, and they're going to create their own DAO based on this knowledge that we have and this kind of what we're learning right now about DAOs. So each of our squad leaders will create a DAO. It'll be focused on one particular aspect of gameplay, say shipping or shipbuilding or pirating or whatever. And the goal of that DAO is to be making the most money that you can, min-maxing the most money that you can in that particular profession. And how those DAOs evolve is going to be up to them, right? We're part of Interstellar Alliance. We've also signed on to the UMO. So we want to have a particular set of moral standards that we adhere to and sort of a gameplay style that we have. But ultimately, the Deep Profits DAOs will be independent things, all flying a similar flag with the intention of being, making the most money they can at a particular job. I see lots of people in our DAO or in our DAC participating in other guilds, and I really encourage that. I encourage people from other guilds, if you want to come and just be part of one of our DACs so that you can learn what the best way to make money in that particular profession is, and you're welcome to join and be part of other DACs at the same time. So I don't see us as being like a big gigantic behemoth all in one thing. I see us as being a big presence in the metaverse as individual, many small to medium-sized individual fleets, I guess, if that makes sense.
I wanted to say something about the squads DAO. One of the developers in the Interstellar Alliance is also working on the squads DAO itself, and we were alpha testing it like several months ago, and it was very easy to use. That was the best thing overall. It was not something highly complicated, just very simply made in order for people to understand much of the technology to use it. And,
we are losing you, Christian. I think you're having some little issues with the mic, at least from my side.
How is now? Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, and overall, I know with the squads DAO, we'll be able to have like one main DAO and sub DAOs, and we'll be able, for example, to have one main guild and multiple smaller ones connected to it, or even several guilds connected to one main umbrella, and even smaller sub DAOs for different teams, just like different people are wanting to have different teams for different type of jobs in the metaverse. So it will be really nice to have those sub DAOs on our main guild DAOs. I think that will be really efficient and organized.
It's really interesting because we have tons of guilds and none of them has the same kind of organization. This is crazy, guys. And also very interesting. I am at least learning a lot today with you guys. It's awesome.
So I had a one comment about Polis too, since Newt, since you love Polis. Yeah, so one of the features that was built into Fleet Pass originally was that it reads Polis in people's wallets, right? And so, like, I am thinking politically, like, Fleet Pass was intended to be a tool to measure or to align yourself with other guilds so that you could see which guilds have the most sway. Like, not only do they have the biggest fleet, but they also have the most Polis or the least Polis. And you could find people that you know or you're affiliated with and get an idea of what their weight is in the metaverse as far as a voting thing is concerned. So since joining Star Atlas, what to do with Fleet Pass has kind of been on the tip of my mind. And actually just this week, the front end developer that I had hired for Fleet Pass has been hired by Star Atlas as well, and he's coming on board as a front end dev. And so rather than the two of us continue to work on Fleet Pass as a solo project, we were thinking that the best thing might be to actually open source it and turn it over to the community with some kind of like guides as to what our plans were for it, how we envisioned guilds using it as a political measurement tool, and how we envisioned it working as kind of a fleet visualization tool. And I've kind of been thinking it through, and just like, since all you guys are guild leaders on here, the idea would be that rather than have it be something where you buy NFTs, I would just publish a system that you can mint your own NFTs, and they could be created in such a way that they become Fleet Passes, and you would add them to the app yourself. And then there's no like intermediate. You just mint NFTs yourself using a particular guideline, and then you subscribe to Fleet Pass, and then your ships could either be displayed in the dashboard publicly, or you could just get all the data out of the Fleet Pass system for yourself. So I did want to mention that. I kind of wanted to feel people out whether they thought that was a good idea or whether they were interested in that, because there is a bit of a conflict of interest there, and both my front end dev and I both recognize that, and so we haven't really been doing a lot with Fleet Pass. We wanted to wait and see how things would play out, and I think we're both comfortable with that going forward. So I don't know, like, if any of you are interested in that idea, please let me know, because I think it might be a good tool that the community can continue to use without us being without us owning it, if that makes sense.
This is really, really interesting, Xcode. And there's a lot to think about that, because one of the main features right now in my way of thinking Polis is that no one actually knows how much Polis the other guy has. Only me, who were baited by someone on our last Star Atlas Brew, that I, without thinking, told them about my Polis bag. But it's really interesting, and it's a really important feature in the gameplay to actually have your Polis in secret. Maybe inside your guild it would be a good tool to measure how much Polis the entire guild fleet has, like how many chips they have and how much Polis voting power they have. This is really something interesting, and something that I would actually like to talk about later. Maybe we can chat sometime and discuss this. I found it's really interesting topic. I love Polis, so yeah.
Yeah. So an open source version, you could choose whether you wanted to publish it or just use it for your own accounting. That's one good thing about an open source version.
Awesome.
Actually, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, please.
Oh, awesome. I just had to figure out this push to talk thing because I never used it before. So sorry for that one. My question would be, you have mentioned the DAO and multisig development thing. How to join them, actually?
So with Squads DAO, you just go to sqds.io, and I believe that's the right address. You connect your wallet there, and you with your wallet create the multisig DAO. As of tomorrow, when they do their new software update tomorrow, hopefully this will actually get released, where you can. It's a choice. You have two choices. You either create a multisig DAO or you create one that where the different owners' wallets make up the voting power kind of thing. I can't remember what the actual name for that kind of DAO is, but it's something you can do yourself on squads.io.
Thank you for sharing. We're super fucking amped to work with squads. And now even more so, I guess, knowing we can actually use the data and help the community.
Yeah, this is awesome, man.
Thank you very much, by the way.
Is there anyone else who wants to ask questions? Let us keep going if you guys have
I got
some
one.
of them. Awesome.
So I know a lot of people don't have guilds, and me particularly, at this point I don't have a reason to join a guild. I just live on Discord and answer everyone's questions. That's pretty much all I do. Something that I had brought up before, but I was never able to bring up in front of a lot of guild leaders, is that people would probably want to come to this game to escape some level of structure. They just want to have fun. They just want to hop on a few minutes, a few hours, burning away the weekend. I know that this is a topic that might be more realistically talked about and strategized in the future, but letting there be an area or sections where all guilds can agree to not interact with, so people aren't forced to be like, okay, if you want to actually do anything in the game ever, you have to be in a guild. I feel like that's kind of counterintuitive to the metaverse, where you should be free to do anything, and if you don't want, guilds built breathing down your throat, making you have to join them, making you feel like you have to be a cog in the wheel, what the guilds or any guild or some guilds agree that there could be some area where if you want to go there, if you want to build there, if you want to venture there, you can do that guildless, and you don't have to be threatened that, a guild is just going to walk in and just wipe you out because you decide to actually play independently, play by yourself, and not join a guild. I know there's some people who, can do that because, they have notoriety, they have, public immunity. But for the small guy who comes in, 10, 20 years on the line, and he doesn't want to force to join someone, he wants to be independent, he wants to have that protection, but not pay an arm and a leg to defend off guilds or fend off pirate guilds, stuff like that. But they can actually play by themselves independently, and they know everyone around them is independently. They have safety in the fact that a guild is not going to walk in and just walk through them and walk through everyone, because they're in a safe space where everyone's just a 1v1, or maybe small groups, but not actual organized guild movements within the area.
I think I can say something about this, and I actually think that this is an extremely good question, and I'll explain why. I'm well aware that there will be some people that will just want to be, to be able to go into deep space and build there without, just like you said, some guild coming in and just crushing everything that you are building there. And one of the ideas that we have with the Interstellar Alliance is to build the Interstellar Stargate network, right? And in the future, depending on how fast we're building those Stargates in the Metaverse, we'll be really interested in, for example, selling entire Stargates for big guilds or organizations who want to have their own very far away place in the deep space, far away from the factions. Or even, for example, gathering, let's say, 1,000 people, all of them with the first bike, for example, and charge them, let's say, $1 to go out together through one of those Stargates, and to try to start and build on a level playing field somewhere in deep space, far away from, the entire faction thing and everything else. And I think that it would be really interesting to just, for example, for YouTubers or content creators to experience this type of, like a reset of a world, right? Everybody is going to some new place where you can gather 8 times more resources, and you can just try to cooperate with the people there, and or try to take over the Stargate and just build your own empire or something. People have all kinds of different chances, right? So I think that would be extremely exciting and really fun to see what people will be building in those areas.
If I may add here to Christian's answer, just to answer your question, support line, it would be very difficult to prevent people from, taking advantage of those people who choose not to join guilds, from just attacking them, knowing that in a certain part of land or of Metaverse there is a bunch of players that are not supported by the guilds. I can see certain guilds taking advantage of that and just attacking, just farming those players. But as a UMO, we're planning to, provide some security around the areas that we will be occupying, and within those areas, the players who just want to do their own thing without, engaging within the other guilds, but not threatening us or our members, they would be able to just safely, practically, live on the borders of our zone of operation.
Oh, that's really good.
Everything has a cost. Everything.
Of course.
I'm always
I want to go because I think it's really directed towards sort of some of the guilds similar to ours, right? Or even the larger ones, I guess. But I think it's suffice to say that these players, even though they're individual, they know the risk if they're going to these zones, right? So that risk inherent, right? That's the first and foremost. The second thing is not to say that you can't be alone and be able to have some sort of immunity with us. I mean, we've had discussions and talks about different options for players, right? But like I said, everything has a cost. If you want to operate freely with no guild and have, immunity, there's going to be a price tag to it. So I think it's definitely plausible to say that you could be a solo player, because it's unrealistic to say that you have to join a guild. I don't think that's what anyone here really says. I think we just all encourage it just for the sake of community, right? Maybe some of these players need help on a further scale level or a deeper level than what Discord can provide. So I do think there is certainly a place for solo players in this game, and there will be forever, and there will be routes around that. I just think there will be a cost for that.
I mean, I compare Star Atlas with actual existing games like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen. I'm also an active player in Star Citizen, and there, in both games actually, it's possible to do also solo things. Of course, there are really big factions and guilds and big teams, but you are just facing the risk, right? I mean, it's like in real life. If you go to deep space alone, you have to be prepared for some dangerous, how can I say, situations. But is it actually possible to go in like a solo player then? Is it in planning?
I think it is, but I don't really think that it will be very viable and it's not going to be safe, because, for example, if you're a solo player, you go in deep space, you don't really have to be only worried about the players, but also for the NPCs, that they can attack you while you're sleeping. So I think you need to be able to invest enough in some kind of security system or drones or something like this that can protect your base. And all of this will be costing different amount of money, right? It's not going to be for free. So for sure, people have to take under consideration a lot of costs that will come with this solo playing and freedom, right?
Yeah, as I mentioned, right? Everything has a cost. If you want to be a solo player, you got to have some deep pockets, depending on the activity you want to do. If you just want to move, merchandise around and chill in the low risk zone, great. You're not going to need much. But if you want to be a solo player and operate in deep space and have your cake and eat it too, you're going to need some cash, right? Or have some strong friends or whatnot.
Yeah, very big ship, for example.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was alluding to, right? You got a lot of cash.
I don't think so, man. Because the thing is, it's a question of balancing, right? I mean, if you have capital ships, of course, they shouldn't be able to shoot down little ships, because it's like in real life. If you just appear with an elite team in a little boat, a big ship shouldn't be able to see you right away. It could be possible that you have smaller ships which are just tracing down the area and scanning the area, of course, but I think it should be coupled to some kind of balancing where small ships should be harder to get by big capital ships and otherwise, right?
No, that's busted.
I don't think that
People
will.
abuse that. Just letting you know. Like the players like us who are
It sounds like just more like money making,
I think. Yeah, I just think that those big ships, they need to incentivize the people who are buying them. As for example, yes, your ship will be a lot more stronger and will be a lot more easier for you to kill smaller ships who are going to be slower or their shields will be weaker. So I don't really know how exactly they can balance this out. But I'm open for any suggestions.
But by accuracy, to be honest, I mean, as I said, I'm an active player at Star Citizen, and there it's possible to have big ships, and big ships have harder times to hit smaller ships, and smaller ships, of course, have easier times to get onto bigger ships with smaller teams and get them in, like doing some infiltration jobs and stuff like that, right? And on the other hand, you need to just send out small troops to get smaller guys, and that will make it possible to open some doors for solo players. And I can imagine there will be some people who want to just join the game for a couple of hours and doing the pirate thing by their own, like doing the freelancer job or doing the I don't know, the assassination thing by trying to kill different people or something like that. I mean, I'm just doing like something like a story now, but I don't know.
I did something. Go ahead.
I think that in the Star Atlas game it will be a little bit different when it comes to PvP and even the type of assets that we are going to use. For example, you'll be having like the bigger ships will have like several different weapons which will be controlled by individual NPCs or people in the future. So even if there is some kind of less accuracy or something like this, you'll still be in front of big ships with entire teams of smaller ships in them, or just a lot of different weapons who will be individually shot at you. So I don't really think that it will be that easy. I just don't really see how.
No,
I think the point is just like the smaller target you have, the harder it is to hit. I mean, like in reality, the smaller target you have to shoot at, it's harder to hit, of course.
Yeah, it should be realistic in the sense of that, but I don't think in terms of the scanning it should be any harder, unless there's stealth, But it should be realistic, and I'm sure they're taking all these things into consideration, right?
So I got a question here. All right, hold on, let me gather my thoughts. I've been trying to squeeze in there for a minute, and now with the ships, like in my case, I've got more than one ship. Now, am I going to be able to control them as a fleet at some point, and like where they're even being flown by NPCs, and I'm just kind of dragging and saying, "Hey, all of you, go there," or is it only going to be one ship that I can operate at a time?
Short term, it's going to be you can control your whole fleet, and long term, especially when we get to the Unreal Engine 5 version of the game, everything's on the table. We have to consider the pros and cons of each, and there's no answer to what it's going to look like down the road. But in the short term, you're going to be able to control all your ships.
Yeah, cool. So in other words, at the beginning, I could say, cargo ship, go here, and I'm going to send 4 Pierce X5s with you if that's profitable. It might actually cost too much to have too many ships escorting me on a cargo run, but the point would be that's a sense of security there if I'm able to send some of my other security ships with my cargo ship on its run. at least for the time being, and hopefully by the time the next game comes out, I'll have made plenty of friends and alliances.
I think it will be really difficult to just make it when it's the Unreal Engine 5 game to have one person to manage, like, let's say 100 ships. I know lots of people with 100 ships. It will be really hard to control all of them, or probably we'll need to have good AI for the avatars, the NPCs that may control it or something like this. But I would personally be more happy for the balance of the metaverse if we can control only one avatar per, when we walk in the game, only one avatar to be able to fly one ship, for example, or doing one job specifically.
I mean, I can also agree to that one because also the onboard weapons should be controlled by AI, and that's a huge amount of AI processes in the background, right?
Yes, that would be extremely difficult, especially in blockchain game that requires more technical. I don't really know how evolved is the Unreal Engine 5 with the connection to the blockchain systems of the Solana blockchain, but I think that it will be very difficult, but not impossible for sure. So depending on the efficiency that they want to release the game with.
This brings a really interesting question on my side. I mean, will be the interaction with the blockchain actually all the time in real time, or is it like doing the exchange between the back end, the client, and the blockchain every time when any necessary transaction has been done already? Do we have any information on that one?
Only that there will be a mix of things. There is no need for all the actions of every player to be implemented into blockchain right away. I'm not exactly sure how exactly it will be implemented, but we were already told that it's not going to be all time every action on the blockchain.
Hey friends, let me chime in here a little bit. We are over 1 hour and a half of the Atlas Brew, and I think that we went full of topic. I love the conversation, don't get me wrong, I love the conversation, and we want to leave it ongoing. But let's close the Atlas Brew here, because I think that we are not longer speaking about guilds, and I feel like it was a super valuable conversation. And I will highly encourage everyone to continue chatting here and discussing. We are just closing the Atlas Brew, that number 3, that was about guilds, and
Sorry,
we'll continue the conversation. Yeah.
Would I be able to just add one more question on the topic? Because recently we were discussing any ways of improving the recruitment process on the Discord. Do we still have time to talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. So I've noticed that there was quite a discussion started already on the guild chat earlier, and you were part of it already. Just wondering whether the guild recruit channel was the right thing to do, and what was the efficiency of it. Seeing that we've got quite a few people that are not parts of the guild yet, so I was wondering what their opinion is on how efficient this channel is in terms of finding the guild that they would like to join.
Yeah, if anyone is new here and has seen or taken a look at the Guild Recruit channel, it's always good to receive some feedback if anyone wants to talk.
My point of view may be valuable on this. Like, for example, I was the one who proposed the Guild Recruitment channel, and just like I was telling before, there was only 20 people at that time in the Discord, in the Star Atlas Discord, that now have 160,000 people or something like this. From what my personal observation, there is probably around 100,000 people in different guilds at the moment, or at least 40 to 50% of the entire community is in different guilds, right? We cannot be sure for any numbers or something like this, but even if we calculate that there is a couple of thousand people or tens of thousands of people in the different guilds, this is extremely good. Like it was extremely valuable that we created the guild recruitment channel because many guild was created and the different people invited a lot of people. So even if we don't see very big skyrocketing numbers of new recruits, I think it's still very good way of bringing new people. Also, the Star Atlas guilds website, which our guilds can put their guild resumes and everything else, is also very good way of recruitment for the different guilds. So overall, in 1 year from the creation of everything, I think we did pretty well with the guild recruit channel and
Oh, we are losing you again, my man.
Overall, I think we did pretty well with the guild.
We can't hear you right now.
We lost your mic, Christian.
Yeah, at least me.
Yeah, my apology. Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Overall, I just want to say that the guild recruitment channel was really good. Just for the past 1 year, it managed to expand the guilds and the entire community by multiples, right? I think we did all of us really well.
Yeah. So we can continue this discussion about the guild recruitment and all that in the guild chat channel. I will be taking a look and seeing how we can improve the way that recruitment takes place in the Star Atlas Discord. So yeah, if anyone wants to chime in, we will continue on guild chat. We are closing the Atlas Brew now regarding guilds. Thank you everyone for joining today. And I really encourage everyone who wants to stay here to continue in the conversation because I think it's great, it's super valuable. But this was the Atlas Brew Guilds edition. We will probably host another Atlas Brew next week on Wednesday. And thank you so much for joining. Also, we have a town hall on Friday. So set your alarms. It's going to happen at 11 p.m. UTC, I think. We'll confirm later. But yeah, we have a town hall on Friday. And yeah,
thank you, dude. Thank you, Santi. Appreciate it.
Santi,
guys, thank you so much for joining, and thank you, Jose, for co-hosting with me, man. Always super appreciated.
Oh, this is a pleasure, Santi. Thank you very much for all this.
Thank you.
Santi, do you have a minute? I just wanted to tell maybe a good way for the recruitment will be the Star Atlas guild channel. Channel to be also like promoted somehow, or the Star Atlas guild website which was created. I think it's also pretty good way of expanding the guilds.
Yeah, I will take a look at that. Yeah, thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Take care.
See you, friend.
Thanks, man. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thanks for joining today.